Now, returning to Australia's, soon-to-be Queen Mary, and royal commentator Phil Dampier told the UK Telegraph, it's possible that the Queen took this action because she would have been terrified of the marriage breaking up and the royal family losing Mary. It would have caused major problems. The Queen has always seen Mary as a tremendous asset. Now, Angela, do we think that this could be behind the surprise decision?
Well, it's an interesting question, isn't it? Because if the relationship is really bad, does one think that Mary will stay there? Is being a queen good enough? And the first royal to be a queen from Australia, would that be enough to keep the marriage intact? I think it might have been a worry and concern, but I think also that she's had a very bad back. And she feels, she's 83 and she feels rather old. And I think that she thought this was the right time. I think she's gathered lots of things together. I don't think it's just about Mary, who she absolutely adores, because you don't want somebody to have a terrible life with the person they're living with. I think it's just a part of it, and I'm sure she would have talked to Mary about it and she would have agreed, and that she would stay with the marriage.
Now on to Meghan and Harry, and we understand this week there's a report that apparently Meghan was furious, and this is while she was still a senior royal, because she considered that the royal family had different rules for her than other members. Now, Angela, do you think that this was the case? And if there was, do you think potentially there was a good reason for that?
Well, frankly, Meghan is the most difficult woman to satisfy. She's got a load of millions, she wants billions. She's one of those people. Now, we have to remember that she's blaming Fergie, was married to Prince Andrew. The whole point of it was that she wasn't any longer married to him. In 1996, they divorced. So the life for Fergie was going to be very difficult. And she didn't take that into consideration. But also what she's ignoring is that the Queen said to her she would be very happy if she wanted to continue acting. And Meghan said, no, I absolutely don't. I want to give my whole self to the royal family. And that was a rather large error in her part. And yes, so it is ridiculous. I think it's Meghan trying to get publicity, saying anything, and she does like to be a victim. We've seen that many times on broadcasts on the television and moans and groans, and this is just another one. But what the Queen didn't want and didn't encourage them to do is to use the royal name to make commercial gain, not to sell yourself being royal by making more money. Fergie had to look after herself, and so she was entitled to do whatever she wanted because she was no longer any connection with the royal family. Although she was friendly with Andrew, she didn't have that connection. She didn't go to any of the events. And Meghan and Harry did, and you can't use your royal status to make lots of money. It's not on. It's very, very disproved.
Now, given Fergie's attendance at Sandringham for Christmas, it's been suggested that all is forgiven. Does this give Harry a glimmer of hope, or do you think maybe he has to serve a bit of penance, as Fergie's done?
I think it's very different between Fergie and Harry. Fergie has never attacked the royal family. She's always supported the monarchy. And through thick and thin, she's always supported her husband. They have been good friends. She's been a very good mother, and she's done what she's been told, really, to keep away. This was mainly due to the late Duke of Edinburgh. He couldn't stand her, and he wanted her nowhere near him, and that lasted for for over 20 years. She would take a little country cottage near Sandringham, and the girls, her daughters and her ex-husband, would go in and have their lunch and, you know, play games and be all together without her. And I think it upset the children quite a lot, and would much rather if she was there as well. But once he died, the Queen started inviting Fergie to tea because I think she enjoyed her company. But last year, Queen Camilla, who is not at all a begrudging person, invited her, and Charles, of course, invited her for lunch. That all went very well. So after 22 years, she was invited to join them to go to church. So that's how it happened. It's not that she'd done, you know, just Prince Duke of Edinburgh couldn't stand her, so she wasn't there. But Harry has been terrible to his family. He's talked about very intimate things. He's told lots of untruths. He's very spoilt. He insists that they apologise to Meghan, to how they treated her, which, you know, you think, well, what did they do wrong? She's the one really who should be apologising. And he said things about his brother, about his father, his stepmother, and even Catherine, who he said when he got to know her that she was the sister he'd always wanted, and now that she is, you know, lazy, she's no good, you know, she's just wasn't friendly, she didn't do enough for Meghan. All those things, and I think that's very, very different from actually being a very jolly woman who tries all sorts of things and is fun and positive, to somebody who's being very spiteful, unkind and thoroughly nasty.
Angela Levin, a pleasure as always. Thank you for your insights and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.